A seller agreed a price of $2.4 million, shook hands, told his family, and then at closing, $180,000 gone. Not renegotiated, not disputed, gone because of something his broker never mentioned. This was built into the deal from day one, and almost no one sees it coming. It's called a working capital adjustment. And if you're selling a business, it is the single most misunderstood number between your agreed price and the check you are actually handed. So what is the working capital? It's the cash that keeps the business running day to day. Your accounts receivable, money clients owe you, your inventory, the stock sitting in your warehouse, your cash at the bank, minus any accounts payables, what you owe suppliers. And when you sell a business, the buyer expects to receive a business that can operate from day one. They're not buying a shell. They need working capital in the business to pay salaries, to order stock, and to keep the lights on. So here's the part that catches sellers off guard. That working capital doesn't come with you. It stays with the business. And when I was on the buy side, we looked at a distribution business. Nice operation. The owner had run it for about 12 years. The agreed price was $3.2 million, and on paper, the working capital looked fine, around $400,000. But the owner had been letting his receivables run too long. Clients were 60 and 90-day terms, and he hadn't chased them. So at closing, the actual working capital in the business was $220,000, below the target $180,000. And that's the $180,000 that came off the seller's payout, dollar for dollar. Here's how that adjustment actually works. The buyer sets a working capital target in the LOI, or the letter of intent, at the beginning, usually based on the average working capital over the last 12 months. Let's say that target is $400,000. Then at closing, they calculate what's actually in the business. If the working capital is above $400,000, the seller gets the excess added to their payout. If the capital is below $400,000, the difference comes off the top. Sounds reasonable, right? And in principle, it is. The buyer needs a functioning business. But here's where it gets painful. 1, the broker doesn't always explain that. I say this with love because I've seen it happen. Most brokers focus on the headline price because that's what secures the engagement for them. The working capital adjustment is buried in the LOI and never discussed in plain language. 2, the seller runs down the receivables. You stop chasing invoices the months before closing. You're focused on the sale. You're distracted, not on collections. And every dollar receivable that doesn't come in is $1 off your payout. 3, inventory gets depleted. You run down stock because you don't want to buy more inventory for a business you're about to sell. But if inventory is below the target at closing, that shortfall comes off your price too. And 4, seasonal timing. If your working capital naturally fluctuates, say you're a business that carries high inventory at certain times of the month and you close in a low month, you're exposed. The 12-month average might look fine, but the closing day number doesn't. And 5, there's often a peg. Buyers set a threshold, usually around 5 to 10%, below which there is no adjustment to be made. But above that peg, it's dollar for dollar. And at $180,000 is well above any peg. So let me make this concrete. That distribution business I mentioned, $3.2 million at agreed price. The seller walked away with $3.02 million because the working capital was $180,000 below target and the adjustment was dollar for dollar. And most sellers don't find out about this until the week before closing. By then it's too late to fix. So what do? Well, there are 4 things you can do. 1, ask your broker to explain the working capital target before you sign the LOI. If they can't explain it clearly, that's a warning sign. And if they say it's standard, don't worry about it, that's an even bigger warning sign. And 2, get your receivables tight in the 12 months before sale. Chase every invoice. Shorten your terms if you can. Every dollar in receivable on the books at closing is in your pocket. 3, manage your inventory deliberately. Don't run it below historical averages. Talk to your accountant about a working capital target and make sure your inventory levels support it. 4, negotiate the peg. A wider peg means smaller adjustments in the end of the day. If the buyer proposes a 5% threshold, push for 10%. It won't eliminate the risk, but it creates a buffer. And that's a $180,000 gap. It's not theoretical, it's real. It happens at closings every week, and it happens because no one explained the rules before the game started. If you're thinking about selling your business and no one's walked you through working capital adjustments, ask now, not the week before closing. Because it isn't just about evaluation, it's about getting your retirement sorted and your options and choices in life and freedom when you sell your business. Next week, I'll show you the one clause in an LOI that lets a buyer walk away with your deposit. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, look after yourself and not just your business, and I'll see you in the next one.